an emergency writ of mandamus up to the D.C. Court of Appeals in the case involving General Flynn. You just heard Sidney Powell, the general's lawyer, talking about this. There was, in fact, a Supreme Court decision that came out just about 2 weeks ago. It was a little bit before I made the argument for the president on the cases involving those subpoenas. And what's really fascinating about this is it was unanimous, 9-0, and it basically said that what Judge Sullivan is doing, a district court judge cannot do. In other words, the parties litigate cases before them, not third parties at the district court level during a criminal proceeding, which is precisely what's happening in the way Judge Sullivan has moved the case forward.
This is a separation of powers lesson in the Law School 101 civil procedure, criminal procedure, Jay. General Flynn has filed a motion to withdraw his plea. The government has agreed that he should not be prosecuted. I think the D.C. Circuit is going to take up the writ of mandamus.
We've moved to have judges removed. It's called recusal, and you make motions. Here, it's a writ of mandamus because the judge has issued a pending order. But realize what this judge has done. He's issued a pending order, and that pending order says, I'm appointing a special counsel, basically, an amicus, friend of the court. But he's told the friend of the court what he wants them to argue, the way in which he's going to do this. This is unprecedented. And as I said, it comes on the heels of a Supreme Court opinion issued 2 weeks ago by Justice Ginsburg, unanimous, 9-0, where Justice Ginsburg, writing for the court, said, when it comes to litigation, this kind of litigation, others as well, the parties brief it. The parties raise the issue. The parties put the case forward. And if two of the parties agree that the case should no longer go forward, you know what the judge is supposed to do, Andy? The judge is supposed to issue an order and enter an order of dismissal.
The judge is not a player in the case. He is supposed to be acting as a neutral arbiter, simply overseeing the litigation before him or her. And Justice Ginsburg, as you correctly pointed out, writing for a unanimous Supreme Court, told the Ninth Circuit, the famous Ninth Circuit, the always reversed Ninth Circuit, reversed yet again, stay out of litigation. Let the parties litigate.
Now you've got Justice Ginsburg and Judge Gleeson, who, by the way, is anything but neutral. His firm represented Sally Yates in front of the House Intel Committee. That might be a conflict of interest as well. But you've got Judge Gleeson and Justice Ginsburg, these bastions of conservative ideology, saying that the parties have to decide who gets to argue the case. And yet you have Judge Sullivan arguing the opposite. Jay, I think it's pretty clear. The only reason that they've had a change of opinion is because there is a desired outcome in this case. And look, I will tell you, the committee with oversight of the judicial branch, the co-equal branches, of course, but the ones that will inquire of them, the ones that will confirm judges, the Senate Judiciary Committee, Jay, that's the same one that's about ready to issue 53 subpoenas. So don't think that the legislative branch is going to sit quietly on this one.
Here's what Sidney Powell, this is Lieutenant General Flynn's lawyer. She's done a phenomenal job on this case. Here's what she said.
I wish I knew what was going on with Judge Sullivan. I can't say that I do, other than he has gone way out into left field by himself, as we say in our mandamus petition, on this notion that he can appoint an amicus for himself and solicit other amicus briefs and not rule on our motion, on the government's motion to dismiss, which we consented to.
What Sidney Powell, Lieutenant General Flynn's lawyer, is doing is asking the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the court directly above Judge Sullivan, the district court, to order Judge Sullivan to comply with the law and to grant the government's motion to dismiss Flynn as a defendant and to end this case.